is Rob.Salter. Today I'm joined by Laurie Sisler from CED. Laurie, please introduce yourself. Let us know how you got introduced to CED, how long you've been there, and what your current position is over at CED.
Hi, I'm Laurie Sisler. I am currently a profit center manager, and I was introduced to CED through a career fair at my college. I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I graduated from that college with an ag business and ag communications degree, and I met the company at the career fair, and they started talking to me about the opportunities, and I was hooked from day one. I have now been with the company for going on 6 years in a couple of months.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction. Let's jump right into it. How would you describe the management trainee position to someone who really knows very little about CED?
The way I describe the management trainee position is it is a full encompassed training program that allows you to see every single aspect of the business from the inside out, gives you the opportunities to learn and grow in every single phase to the point that you are able to run a business and run it knowing every single part and be able to work with your team and train your team because you have personal experience having gone through every single aspect.
What type of person do you think is a good fit for the management trainee position?
I am looking for somebody who is driven. That is a big focus of mine because if you're planning on running your business, you want to have drive. You want to have drive that's really helping push you along the road to the next step to continue to grow and progress. And so I definitely look for somebody who is driven and who can set those goals, is very oriented around creating this new opportunity. You don't grow a business, you don't continue through a career without having some sort of growth. And so in order to have that, you want to have drive, you want to have some goals that you can focus on, and the sky's the limit. That's the person that I want.
In terms of, most people who are watching this video just graduated from college, are about to graduate, or maybe they've been out for a year or two, and, they never really envisioned in their life, spending any time in a warehouse, or they've never spent time in a warehouse before. So, they just have maybe a stigma around it or an idea of what it would be like. Usually I would say that idea is more of a negative one, but it might not, be what it actually is like. So I wanted you to just touch upon what it was like working in a warehouse and who would be a good fit for spending some time in a warehouse.
I agree. I don't think I ever thought of the fact that I would be working in a warehouse. That was never a vision of mine per se. However, I do truly believe that every single person should experience a warehouse. It is the way that our world works. We cannot, as consumers, cannot receive product. Doesn't matter what product. Could be food, can be clothing, electrical material in our scenario. And there's no way to receive that without having the warehousing factor. Amazon is a big one that we all experience, and that's a big warehouse. So I actually do genuinely think that everybody should experience that warehouse at some point in their lives, because it really is an eye-opening experience for you to see how it works. It doesn't happen overnight. It does take logistics, it takes structure, it takes planning, and people working well together. And if I didn't have that experience, I would have a very different view on the world. So for me, it was really interesting because I did start in a warehouse. I started in quite a large warehouse, actually, for a CED profit center, and it was industrial focused. So we had some really big material that you never would have seen. You never realize that that's part of what actually creates buildings and the electricity that flows through some of these really large plants. And especially with the ag relationship that I had, I could see the full picture, see the full circle of everything coming together. So it was really nice to be able to experience that from just how it works, the logistics behind it, making the world run. That was really, really interesting to me. And I could see the structure building upon itself. And that's the foundation of any consumer products, is that warehouse. And so I would say the person that is willing to go and see and experience and humble themselves to see what's out there. They don't know everything. There's so much knowledge to gain. That's the kind of person that's perfect to be able to step right in, learn every single aspect of the warehouse, and continue to progress throughout the rest of the business.
No, that's really awesome, the way and the perspective that you share that you gained by working in the warehouse. And I think it's really cool because most jobs these days, entry-level positions, like you're just behind a desk, in front of, Excel or Word or, have a headset on. And this is really an opportunity to like, quote unquote, get your hands dirty, get to touch some things and really understand why the business that you're in does what it does and how it moves and creates revenue every single day. So I think it is a fantastic opportunity. I want to see, what was your favorite part of being a trainee?
I really enjoyed being involved. There's so many times that somebody is just told how to do something. And for me, talking about being involved in learning by either touching something or visual, those are very strong factors for how I learn and how a lot of people that I know learn. So it was really nice to have that opportunity of getting involved and actually experiencing it, touching and feeling the product, visually seeing product going from point A to point B, seeing the quotations in the bidding process. I was very involved in every single aspect, and it was all in. There was no little tiny bit. It was all in, completely involved, ask questions, get answers, learn, because I didn't know. I had no clue. I came in completely green to this industry and I needed to learn. And I had every opportunity to learn. And I gained some amazing mentors through that learning process at individual phases within the program, but also the different locations that I was able to train at. There were some fantastic people who had just had years of knowledge well over what I could ever imagine having. So it was a very good experience just to be completely involved.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I think that's something for people watching this video to really consider is, I don't know exactly off the top of my head how many trainees can be at one profit center at one given time. But I think in my experience recruiting for CED, usually it's just one or two trainees at a profit center. So you don't have to worry about getting lost in the mix, or you're in this big training class, so you're not going to get that attention that you need to build your skill set. And the reason that they're hiring you in there as opposed to one of those big classes is like, they really need you to like be there and work. Like, you play a vital part to the whole business from day one. So it's great that, entry-level employees get that responsibility from day one and they get the necessary training. So I wanted to see from you, I imagine a lot of people watching this video are coming from a sales background, which they got burnt out in, or they just didn't get any sort of sense of satisfaction because they had to hit, like 75 dials a day, 100 dials a day, and they just got burnt out at that. So I wanted you to, highlight, because it is part of the management trainee position. And then even probably today, as you are a manager, that you never stop selling. And there is obviously a sales process to CED. So if you could highlight that sales process and maybe compare it to, what about maybe one of these, cold calling jobs, and kind of highlight those differences for us.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite things about this industry specifically is I am selling product that is necessary. So it's not that cold calling feel of I'm going to a door trying to sell you something that I know I need to sell and you don't need, right? Trying to turn that story around, finding a way to find this customer of yours needs to evolve. And for me, I am selling the backbone of this world, of the United States specifically. We are an industrialized nation, and we are that way because of electricity. That is one big factor, building electricity. And there is not one city in the United States that doesn't have electricity. So it's necessary material that helps everybody's lives thrive and survive and continue to grow. And for me, that's a very important factor of the sales side. We also here experience more relationship sales as opposed to just going and trying to talk to some random stranger that you've never met before. We do have that happen every once in a while, but typically it's somebody who has heard of us because they're looking specifically for electrical material. It's a small niche kind of industry within this world, and it is a fabulous experience to be able to have that conversation and relate to people from that standpoint. And so for me, I am selling to people I see every single day. I have contractors that come into my office multiple times a day. I go and visit one of my contractors once a week and I see them. I'm on the phone with them constantly. So you really develop this relationship. And the other side of it too is sales isn't just trying to sell material. It's trying to be a problem solver. It's trying to be a consultant. You are partnering with your customer in this. Your customer needs you as much as you need them. And so it's not just I'm selling to you or he's buying from me, he or she is buying from me. It is we are working together to make this the best thing possible. So I'm going to do my best to make this as affordable as possible, make sure I have every aspect that you really need for this job to be complete. And any way I can save time for you, I'm going to be that person for you. That is my job for you. I am your consultant. I am your problem solver. I'm trying to think about everything for you as well, just like the customers working with us and partnering with us and giving us that opportunity to be that person for them and not taking it to competition. So it's really a wonderful experience from the sales side because it doesn't involve that, oh my gosh, I have to go and talk to somebody I don't know, try to sell the material that they don't want. As far as quotas, that is a big thing on the sales side from previous sales people's experiences. There's absolutely some level of where you want to hit, but it's really dependent on you and your work and how you perform and what you want to do. There's no glass ceiling. You can make as much as you want. You can sell as much as you want. It's part of you holding yourself accountable and you and your manager working together to make sure that that is running smoothly. But it's not this, oh, you have to hit 75 units today and 75 units tomorrow. Or however, I have heard some other previous sales experience that is pretty intense. It's a work in progress constantly. It's a growth possibility every single time. And so it's really nice because you really formulate how it works best for you and for your company.
Awesome. That's great to hear. It's all relationship based, consultative based. So if you are one of those people that feels like, oh, I don't want to do any more type of sales, if you haven't done this type of sales, it can really be very rewarding, a very fulfilling job to do relationship and consultative sales. So a lot of people watching this video are, recent college grads, and they have an idea of their head what is going to be important to them right now in choosing a career. Oftentimes, the biggest thing is who's going to pay me the most amount of money. So I just wanted to see from you, like going back, a few years when you were just graduating school, what was important to you then and what is important to you now from your career?
When I graduated from college, I was obviously very focused on that dollar amount. I had student debt that I had to pay for, and I wanted to be able to pay it off. So that was definitely a very important factor of my decision-making on a career right outside of college. I also was very interested in growth and the opportunities to progress within a company as a college graduate. And those were probably the two main focuses that I had specifically. Now looking, I'm about 5-6 years out of college now, and I have reassessed some of my wants and my goals. I still have a goal to grow and continue to improve, and there is absolutely no glass ceiling for me. I will never let that happen. And the beautiful thing is I can do that with this company, but I have other focuses too, as far as, okay, I want to start a family. I want to have the background information that's needed for that family. So healthcare is a factor, 401k is a factor, a lot of the added benefits, the time off, vacation time, sick time, if I need to take sick time, those are all real big factors for me, as well as kind of the full package. The money is still important. Absolutely. The growth opportunity is still important, but there's other factors that really bring to the table a full package. And it is part of the overall compensation, part of the added benefits that I really appreciate and enjoy now that I've been involved in a career for a little bit.
The next question I have it probably overlaps what you were just saying, but I wanted to see, based off the conversations that you've been having with your friends since graduating college, what are some of the biggest differences between the career choices that they made and where you're at with CED, and some of those things that really stick out to you that are, in your mind, like, wow, I'm really fortunate to be at CED and not have to deal with some of these other difficulties that my friends talk about. What are some of those things?
Yeah, actually, just recently I was talking to some of my friends about this. A lot of my friends are capped financially. They've gone through different classes and different certifications to get to the next level of pay, and they're capped. And we are not here. That is the beautiful thing, is we are not here. The company has great opportunities where you can continue to grow and continue to improve. And the better you do, the more money you can make. So it's never a too much money or you can't hit that level ever type of scenario. This company doesn't have that. We have literally have no glass ceiling. And that is probably one of the things I'm one of the most important things to me, especially now working along with my friends. They have a limit and that's it. And so for me, that was a really eye-opening experience to hear them talk about kind of how high they are financially as far as going to the highest level possible within their career choice and not getting the chance to go past it. I also have some friends who not only have a little bit of the financial cap for them, but they also have very little time off. And I have one friend who has 3 days of paid time off. That's it. 3 days. So that's vacation, that is sick time, whatever you need it for. That's 3 days of a whole financial year. And we start day one with the ability to accrue 2 weeks of vacation in a 365-day period. So in our first year, we receive 2 weeks of vacation alone, which for me is very important to be able to have the opportunities to have the time off if needed, especially if you're sick. You don't want to feel bad about leaving work for the day, but you need to take care of yourself. You don't want to get your coworkers sick. So the fact that I have so much freedom and flexibility from that standpoint is very nice. And I have had, unfortunately, some fellow friends of mine around the same age who just don't have those wonderful positives about their companies.
If you don't have that amazing mentor in your life, at least when I went to school, those weren't things that my professors were telling me to, question in job interviews and stuff like that. It just wasn't really talked about. So unfortunately for a lot of people, they just learned the hard way. I'm sure a lot of your friends feel stuck and they don't want to start over now. So it's like they're in this, kind of limbo of just being in a bad situation, which is, it really sucks to hear about that. So definitely something you should really focus on if you are applying to jobs right now. And then my next question for you is, for me as a manager, one of the best parts of my job, if not the best, is helping people on my team grow. Whether that's just like developing a new skill for them or just helping them sharpen their current skills. So I wanted to see if you had a particular story or example in mind where you were able to do that with one of your employees.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you. As a manager, it's really an amazing thing to be able to see your team members grasp onto either a concept or learn something new that they definitely didn't know before. And part of that, as your job as a leader, is to really open that door and open their eyes to whatever they may be struggling with, or to really help and grow them, because everybody needs work on something. Nobody's perfect. So everybody has opportunities to grow every single day. And I actually have one inside salesperson specifically who, it's been an amazing path with him. He has worked for the company for, I think, 8 years, longer than I have. And he just is an excellent salesman, is an excellent conversationalist, has a lot of what you want in a salesperson specifically. And he works so well with the customers, but he didn't understand as much of the operations or the background, what a lot of people consider as the background side of the business. And so when it comes to pricing, or when it comes to the logistics, or or the processes and procedures and why we do the things that we do and how it can benefit the full picture and the ecosystem of this business, he didn't have as much of that level of grasp. And so he and I had plenty of conversations, just sitting down in my office going, okay, well, XYZ, and this is why, and what are your thoughts? What do you think? Vice versa, going back and forth. And we had a great conversation multiple times about different aspects of the background of the business. And he really started to grasp and understand. And he actually specifically works with one customer that we have some fun credit conversations with. And that was a very big area of growth for him, is he had no clue what was needed to be done on the credit side of the business and what all was involved in these conversations with the customers. And he has grown so much in those conversations. And it's a beautiful thing to see how confident he is in these conversations and how little he questions things as far as, I just don't know what I'm doing. And continues down the negative process, because now he has more information and has learned and has grown, and he was so excited about handling a credit conversation the other day. It was beautiful. It was wonderful to see how happy he was. I was so proud of him. It was just everything coming together full circle, and it just makes you so happy as a manager to see the growth and the improvement, and the fact that he was so happy. That was a beautiful thing.
Awesome. And I think that really just kind of, brings it all together on how good the management trainee process is at training the managers or eventual managers to be effective managers. Because some people might be thinking, I don't know anything about this industry. I just got through college. I have maybe, 1 year of experience under my belt or some summer internships. How am I supposed to come in there and, like in your instance, tell someone who's, much more tenured in this industry and this profession, and I'm going to go in there and, have a huge impact on them. So it obviously shows that, CED gives you all the tools necessary and trains you the right way. So you can be a really effective manager and properly train your staff and take them to new heights and elevate what they're already working with. So that's really good to see. I had one last question for you. How do you feel about your job stability within CED and then the overall stability of the electrical distribution industry?
I feel very confident in both of those factors. This industry, again, is the backbone of the United States, especially, but nonetheless, the backbone of the world. And electricity is not going anywhere. It's actually up and coming even more, especially on the cars side of the world. So this industry is not going anywhere. There are probably waves of up and downs, just depending on the fluctuation of the economy. And I know that is a big concern when it comes to somebody choosing a career and a stable career. And the beautiful thing, again, is that our industry is not going anywhere. We're always needed no matter what. And my position specifically, this company has been around for a very long time and is very strong from that standpoint of being able to have everyone have their jobs, their careers, maintain their jobs, maintain their careers, and not have to really reduce the force too much, which is really nice. During COVID, actually, I was able to increase my personnel count here, which was wonderful. That's something that didn't happen all over the place. There were quite a few companies that were reducing their force instead of increasing it. So we had that opportunity. From myself specifically in my position as a management trainee, as a manager, I was a manager 2 years out of college, and that's a pretty secure position to be in. You are running the business. You are the one making the decisions on how to run the business. If the economy is slowing down, you adjust and find a different niche, and you have the ability to do that. So my position, I am not concerned at all. It's a beautiful thing. It's a lot of pressure for a lot of other people out there, but it's thankfully not something that I stress about.
Thank you so much for your time today, Laurie. This was an amazing interview, packed with a ton of great information for anybody trying to learn more about CED and the management trainee position. So thank you again for your time. Hopefully sending you some of the people that are watching this video soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.